Welcome everyone. Today we are going to delve into requirements lifecycle management knowledge area. I personally read it. It's very confusing. I feel like I forgot previous two knowledge areas as soon as I started this one. So it's going to take a lot of time to complete the complete BABOK and ready for the CBAP one. But I'm positive. Are you guys positive?
Positive.
Of course.
There's no way. No other way.
There is
No
What
other
we
way.
should do.
Yeah, we have to give the exam this year.
Before we get started, do you mind if I share my screen? I want to show you something cool about this.
Go ahead.
This knowledge area is particularly interesting because if you look at the inputs, every single task has requirements in design. And I know that there are questions in this one that says, which of these are inputs? And some of the input answers don't have requirements in design. So we can automatically disqualify those. But I wanted to call your attention to that because it's helped me understand it a little bit better. But I will give you back the screen if I can.
The same for me. Output is very clear because it says almost the same requirements design. And for example, approved or traced or prioritized. It was very simple to remember for myself.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So output for these ones are really easy to remember. It's like just if it is trace requirements, remove the requirement and say requirements traced and design traced.
Right.
Yeah.
So we have to include requirements and designs both here in the output.
Right. Well, I'm excited for the questions. Let's see how well we do. I'm confident.
Yep. Can you guys see my screen?
We can. Can you make it a little bit larger for people that have older eyes? Not that I'm one of them. Thank you.
Is it good enough?
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Okay. Let's start. Okay, so first question is, which of the following permits the business analyst to identify and document a requirements relationship to other requirements, business rules, work products, and solution components? Requirements reviews, business analysis package, requirements workshop, requirements traceability. What do you
He has
think?
a dog.
Requirements
Last one.
traceability.
Okay, I have 2 votes for requirements traceability. Any other vote for anything? Let's check the answer. Yay! Great start.
Was easy.
Nate is a senior business analyst for NRO company. He is working with Rod on completing the requirements prioritization of all the identified requirements. Why would Rod and Nate complete requirements prioritization? To determine which requirements carry the most risk, to determine which requirements could be changed, to determine which requirements should be completed first, to determine who created what requirement based on their position in the organization.
C as the cat.
I think C.
Okay, 2 votes for C. Why do you think it is C?
What about A?
Please.
Prioritization isn't about risk. Prioritization considers risk, but it's not about risk. Prioritization is to figure out which one is the most important and which one should
Okay.
be completed in what order.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see. It's correct. 100 points. Which of the following is not a guideline and tool for traceability? Business rule repository, information management approach, domain knowledge, legal regulatory information. It's not.
D as the dog.
I'm hesitating between first and last option.
Okay, so you are saying that it can be business rule repository and
Yeah,
or legal regulatory information.
yeah.
Okay, any more votes?
I vote for D as a dog.
Okay, so I have 2.5 votes for D and 0.5 for this. Let's go ahead and check. It's A.
Okay.
So this is listed and this is not listed.
So the 4 guidelines for this are domain knowledge, information management approach, legal and regulatory information, and requirements management tools and repository.
Oh, okay. Nice. Let's go to the next one. As a business analyst, you are managing and maintaining requirements and design information from inception to retirement. You just completed a set of requirements that have been verified to be of sufficient quality to be used as a reliable body of work for further specification and development. Which of the following would be your next logical task? Approve requirements, accept requirements, define design options, analyze potential value, and recommend solution.
So a key on this is the word task. It's one of the tasks, one of the 5 tasks in this knowledge area.
And yeah, and they are saying that they have verified sufficient quality.
A then, because
Yeah,
it's one of the
A.
task approved.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't see
Yes,
other
A.
tasks from that knowledge area.
Correct.
Perfect.
Wow, we are on a roll today.
Good job.
What is traceability considered an enabler of? Improved stakeholder management, faster and simpler impact analysis, better requirements management planning, enhanced relationship management.
So a clue here is it has to be one of the tasks that's after the traceability task, right? We know traceability is the first task, so it's one of those. I know it only limits it down to 4, but it's going to be one of those things that's after that.
Does some option look like it is not the BABOK language?
It's not the task name, but it's a task goal or purpose.
Yeah.
Or one of the tasks that follows traceability.
D as a dog, maybe like maintenance.
Relationship
Perfect.
management, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
go
think
with the last one.
because traceability is about relationship. So yeah, I vote with it.
Do you have any more votes for any other option? Okay, let's check the answer. It's B, faster and simpler impact analysis. Okay, so it says traceability does enable this, and traceability does not enable the relationship management. And I think enhanced relationship management, it isn't anywhere in BABOK. It doesn't sound like BABOK language.
I will
I
check
thought
for you.
it's related to maintenance, like maintain requirements, something, but I was wrong.
Let's check out. I have BABOK open here. Traceability
don't-
enables, there is first option, faster and simpler impact analysis.
And the
Okay.
word, the
Literally.
phrase enhanced relationship does not occur in the BABOK.
Okay, let's move forward. Suppose you discover that stakeholders are complaining about the requirements for a product. You found that some of the requirements in the review session only applied to a division in Brazil and did not pertain to those in US and Europe. You realize that in presenting the requirements, you should have A. Held separate interviews with each stakeholder group in order to determine their unique requirements. B. Determined which requirements were relevant to which stakeholder group and presented those in an appropriate format. C. Told the Brazilian division that their requirements were out of scope. D. Determine the appropriate stakeholder groups. The Brazilian division had such unique requirements that their requirements should not have been taken into account.
B
Okay,
as
for
a
sure,
boy.
the last two ones is out. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. B as a boy.
Actually, why do you say that last two one outs?
It's just funny.
Okay. Any more votes for A or any other option? Okay. And we are right. Great job. When assessing requirements change, which of the following roles should the business analyst consult with to determine the impact of change on stakeholder work activities? Project manager, end user, sponsor, operational support. Assessing requirements change. Whom should we consult?
Project manager
Sponsor?
A.
B for boy.
Margie,
Okay,
you
we
were
have
saying?
three different sponsor.
Okay. Now I need a
But-
tiebreaker between B and C.
Or A. I think project manager. But-
Great.
I'm gonna
We need-
second project manager.
Sorry?
Okay, so I have 2 votes for project manager.
Okay, I go with project manager too.
Well, we might be wrong. Let's find out.
Margie, what's the reason?
The reason is that change is, I thought that the sponsor has the most authority between all of them, but change of the change of the requirement may be to, details, and project manager should be aware of that. So this is the reason I changed my
I
mind.
think the sponsor has change of scope would be for the
Yeah,
sponsor. I think the project
yeah,
manager
big
is
picture.
requirements change, smaller,
Yeah.
granular. Let's
Yeah,
find out.
I think
Check.
you-
Check.
Oh, it's end
Oh,
user. So the project manager is involved in change management process. Wow, Margie, you were right about, but it is applicable on project manager, not a sponsor. But the above does
Yeah.
not spell out that they should be consulted on importance of requirements or assessing the value of change. Okay, let's check what it says
Interesting.
about a sponsor.
Oh, it's the impact. Determine the impact of the change. Whenever we talk about the impact of the change, that means it's end user.
Oh,
I was thinking impact of scheduling people to do different work, and that's why I went with project manager, but it's impact of the change. Totally different.
Change. Yep. Okay. Which of the following is not a consideration in maintaining requirements? Reusing requirements, maintain attributes, maintain traceability, maintain requirements.
C as a cat. Maintain accessibility.
Sorry, which one? C as a cat?
C as a cat. Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, I agree.
2 votes for C.
Yeah.
Any more votes for any other option? Okay, let's check the answer. And you are correct, guys. There is no such element. I think on this maintaining requirements, we only have 3 elements. Reusing requirements, maintaining attributes, and maintaining requirements.
We have maintain requirements, maintain attributes, and reuse. Yes, you're right.
Bo is a BA working on telecommunications project. The business architect gives him a reference model called ETOM, commonly used in the communications sector. What value might this have for Bo? It will have little value to Bo as he's focused on information technology. The model will provide Bo with understanding of how the strategic objectives of the organization are aligned with tactical demands and activities in the current state of the enterprise. The model will provide Bo with information regarding how work is currently performed and the information required to complete work. And the last one is the model will provide Bo with an understanding of how the organization currently delivers value to customers. Can we rule out some option saying that this absolutely cannot be the answer?
Maybe B.
Okay, so you think B cannot be the answer? Or B is the answer for this one?
Answer. So B is the answer in my mind. Yes.
Okay, okay. Okay.
I vote for D as a dog, the last option. And the reason is it's talking about adding value to customer, which is the point of business analysts. Other options, I don't get the other options.
I think B as a boy.
Okay. Okay, give me the reason for B. Margie has given very good reason for D.
First of all, I think good to know what is the reference model ETOM, but I don't know, for me it's logical, this answer.
Okay, so I have 2 votes for B, 1 for D. Anyone for A, C? Okay, let's check out. B is right. The reference model called ETOM is utilized within communication industry to model business architecture.
I want to draw y'all's attention to where that's at. That's in chapter 11. So
Yeah.
when we're talking about the business architect, they are jumping to chapter 11 where it talks about the business architecture perspective.
Yeah.
So as you see techniques and roles, you need to go back to chapters 10 and 11 to look up to see more information about it.
Okay, so I was right, yes?
B is correct. Yes, you were
Yes.
right.
Okay. Point for me then. Thank you.
Point for you.
Let's see what it say about D. This is incorrect, but as a business architecture model used within communication industries, the model will provide Bo with understanding of how the strategic objectives of the organization are aligned. Basically, it is saying that it will provide this information and not this. Okay, let's move forward. Leah and her team have identified requirements that are candidates for long-term use by the organization. Which of the following is not essential in order to maximize the benefits of maintaining and reusing requirements? A. Requirements should be represented in a consistent manner. B. Requirements should be stored in a manner that makes them easily available and retrievable by other stakeholders. C. Requirements should be prioritized in order to relative importance. D. Requirements should be reviewed and approved for maintenance using a standardized process that defines proper access right and ensures quality.
I think D.
I think C as a cat.
Okay, reason for D.
Well, it's the longest answer here, and I think like it's a feeling. Just like that.
Good.
Okay,
I like
I
it.
love it.
You know, guys, my first shot, the longest one, it's like it's too complicated. That the other ones are quite more simple than the last one. So
I go
Okay.
with A, but the shortest is
Okay, so the reason behind choosing the answer is shortest and longest in this
Oh,
answer.
no, I was joking, but yeah, why it's like consistent manner. I like
Because you
I
want to
compare.
reuse, yeah, but you want to reuse requirements. If it is not consistent, how we would reuse? For me, C, because prioritization has nothing to do with reuse, maintain and reuse. It
I
is my
vote for C.
opinion.
Okay, the other reason for me is that answer B and C for sure, to me it's incorrect. D is kind of I kind of hesitating between A and D, first and last one. The last one is because it says standardized process, and why it should be standardized, it could be different, depends on the problem.
Okay, so I have one vote for A, one vote for C, and one vote for D. Now I need a tiebreaker.
You got two, you have 2 votes for C.
Okay. Let's
C,
check it.
right.
C is the right answer.
oh, no, I was quite close. D
Yes,
is
you
quite
were.
closer than to C us. So
Okay. Let's check what it says about D. Requirements must be maintained to remain relevant. And what about A? Consistency representation is a key to reusability. Let's move
Interesting.
forward. Anna is holding workshops with stakeholders to evaluate the implications of proposed changes to requirements and designs. During these workshops, several issues and concerns are raised by the stakeholders. Anna is overwhelmed by the many issues being raised, and she is wondering how to address all these stakeholders' concerns. What would be your advice to Anna? To use the item tracking technique, to keep focused on the main agenda and advise the stakeholders their issues will be addressed in the next iteration, to use the issue log technique, escalate to the project manager.
A.
C
I
for
vote
cat.
for 8. A.
Okay, 2 votes for A, 1 vote for C. Reasons. Reason for A. Why A?
I
Because
like it because item tracking is a technique and issue log is not a technique. Even though in the real world we use issue logs, but according to the BABOK.
Good answer. So I have 2 votes for A, 1 vote for C. Anyone else is saying anything else?
maybe B.
Because it's the longest answer.
It's the longest, shouldn't be.
Guys, so my strategy is simple, like long one, short one. No. This time, just like I feel it's like it's the right one. So basically, because well, if you can handle all things all at once, it's quite like advisable to put it forward to the next like iteration when like some solution might come to your mind. I think so.
I like your logic, but
Yeah.
even though we can't talk about it in this meeting, we need to track it somehow. First of all, we want people to know we're listening to them and that what they have to say is important to us enough that we document it in a way that gives it credibility. Even if it's, in my mind, ridiculous, I need to hear what they have to say. They might know something I don't know, right? Or
Yeah.
they might just need to be heard, but you got to track it somehow.
And in real world, I totally understand that we mostly go with this option, but as per BABOK, we need a technique.
Yeah.
Okay, let's check out answer A.
Oh, good. I was afraid I was wrong.
Wow. This technique is used to document and track issues or conflicts that surface during impact analysis. Items can be prioritized, thus making them more manageable.
So in the real world, we call ours an issues log instead of item tracking. And so we put in all issues, and then there's the risk log, and then there's the defect log. So we keep track of everything with those three. And I like to put them all in a single spreadsheet with 3 tabs. That way you don't have to be opening different files.
And what is the 3 tabs?
Issues, risks, and defects.
Oh, great.
And you can, if you have Jira or something like that, very often you can
Yeah.
import a list. That way you don't have to be manually,
Yes.
you do not want to have to be manually maintaining anything in more than one place.
Yeah, we can label or yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. And Thea, you were
Could you
absolutely
check,
right about the
why,
reason.
sorry, could
Yeah.
you check C, why C is
Yeah.
incorrect?
There is no
There is
such
no
technique.
such thing in the BABOK, okay.
Yeah,
Even though we do call it that in the real world.
yeah.
Yeah,
But if we are saying that we have to give CBAP exam, then we have to follow the BABOK terminology.
Y'all remember, we started writing this in 2011. Some of the things that we have today, we didn't have then, or we didn't use it as widely then. So you got to remember 2011 to 2014 or something like that is when this was written.
it really begs the question why one would take the exam, given the reason you've just given, Thea.
Oh,
Because it's almost as if we're being examined in retrospect because it doesn't reflect current practice or even terminology.
Okay, I've heard that concern before, and I'll tell you the exact reason that I'm taking the exam now. I've been teaching this for 15 years, and even though the BABOK is a little bit older, it still has 80%, maybe 85% of what you have in the real world. It's that small percentage that's left over that is, you've got to, for instance, use item tracking instead of issue log. So we're all smart enough to be able to make that transition in our mind. We just have to be able to answer the question. And the reason we want to have the common vocabulary is so that we can communicate. I recently did a panel of international business analysts. We all have the same job, with the exception of, in some countries, they have a couple of different regulations than other countries, but it's the same job all over the place. So we all are using the same vocabulary, we have the same techniques, and we're all teaching each other our improvements. Does that answer your question, Abigail?
Nah. I guess
also,
somewhat. It does somewhat, but
yeah,
I've found increasingly that not having common nomenclature or language is a cause for friction. So that's not my experience. So that's the only reservation, and I think it's quite a strong reservation that I have.
All right. I respect
but I guess it's widespread here in England, and so it's a struggle, and so this gives me pause for concern.
Well, let me give you a different example. We've used the word stakeholder for decades, I mean, anyone who's impacted by a project, we call a stakeholder. We recently had a concern raised by 2 different indigenous tribes, people that are Native American. They don't want to be called stakeholders because there was a legend about them stabbing people with a stake. They don't want to be
My
called
gosh.
stakeholders. They want to be called impacted individuals or some other word. They object to stakeholders. So are we going to say that we have to automatically change everything because they have that concern? Or are we going to say, in this meeting, we're going to set the parameters of this is what we're going to use for terms, this is what we're going to use for techniques, and everyone in the meeting has the same understanding, because
Yeah.
we're going to move forward.
Mhm.
And
That
because
that
it's a
approach
published
works,
work-
and that's the approach that I take at the beginning of the project to
Yes.
make sure we're all aligned and using the same language just to address
Right.
these issues. But when you've worked across Agile and also across places that use waterfall, issue log is the common terminology.
I agree.
So
agree.
if
And so
we're
we know
moving
that.
forwards, if we're moving forwards to how the industry is changing and working across multiple product teams, it's become very product centric.
Yes.
Most of the digitization projects. So that, that's why I went for C. And I'm surprised something so basic has not been addressed in the BABOK.
Well, here's the deal. It's a published work that we published in English to start with. And then
Yeah.
we're still working to get it published in other languages. We have a lot of other languages already covered. I think we're at 8 languages now, which is a majority of those people across the world. However, there's still other languages that are still adopting it. Because it's a published work, we can't just go in and make updates.
Of course, yeah.
But our
Yep.
future edition is going to be all digital. So we can do that in the future. So in this bridge between published to digital, we have this situation. We'll make it better next time.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate your comment.
Let's move forward.
Yes.
You are a business analyst on an effort and one of your stakeholders references the proposed changes to confirm compliance to standards. What type of stakeholder is this? Project manager, sponsor, regulator, tester.
Anytime I see the word compliance, I think regulator.
Okay.
I vote for regulator too.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. Let's see. And it's right. Which of the following would dictate to a business analyst which stakeholders to involve in reviewing and approving requirements? A stakeholder list with roles and responsibilities. Sponsor, project manager, tester, business analyst, and business architect are all needed. Sponsor, project manager, and quality assurance are all needed. Whoever the sponsor has designated will sign off. In
B
reviewing
as a
and
boy.
approving the requirements. Sorry, which one?
B as a boy,
Okay.
because for me, A and D just not good, and C just not fully.
Okay.
Plus
I
quality
can't
assurance.
recall business architect. I don't know, reviewing, approving.
Okay, then
Yeah,
what
but
do you think, Margie, is the option? Is the
B
answer?
should be involved, no? Business architect.
I don't know. All of them are wrong to me.
For me, C, why I
It's
don't
confusing.
go with C, because quality assurance, it's not position, right? It should be like quality assurance engineer or something like this. It just subject, but it's not the position of the stakeholder. So that's why I don't like this one.
Good choice. Any more votes? Okay, let's check it.
Huh.
Okay, so the key to this question, I think this is asking what would dictate to business analysts that which stakeholders should involve? They are not asking the stakeholder list. They are asking that how will we decide that which stakeholder will be involved in reviewing and approving the requirements?
So it's talking about the artifact that we reference. And
Okay,
if
okay.
we've made that racy up at the beginning of the project that says these are the people that will either be tiebreakers or make decisions on these particular things, it's going to be with their stakeholder list.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay,
Makes sense.
let's move forward. You are completing a requirements document and stakeholders have approved the requirements. Which stakeholder need access to those approved requirements from a risk perspective? Project manager, end user, business analyst, regulators. Which stakeholder need to access those approved requirements from a risk perspective?
Okay, end user is not,
Okay,
so
Business analysts should have access
regulatory is
because they
not.
create maybe 8 p.m.
Yeah, PM.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's check it. And you both are
Yes.
right. Project manager is responsible for identifying and managing the risk. Which of the following is needed to assess a change to requirements? Proposed change, trace design, trace needs, current state description. Which of the following
A?
is needed? Why AMRG? Why not any other option?
Well, it's kind of just common sense. Like it's the okay, it's the requirement to assess a change. It's a need to assess a change. So what kind of change? Which is proposed change. This is something. I think about the last item, current state description.
Okay.
Yeah,
Anyone else?
current state.
But I think in current state description, we define like business requirements, right? But here it says change requirements. We already know what requirements are. I think A for me.
No, I
Okay.
go with D. Why? Because we do have something, it's as is state, current state description. We know some requirement and our goal is to make a solution, which is the future state. So I go with D.
And now I need a tiebreaker between A and D.
There was one more D in the chat, I think.
There is another D in the chat, yes.
Okay, let's check out. A is the correct answer. D is this is the input to strategy analysis and solution evaluation. For assess requirements change, this is the input, proposed change. Okay, next one. What type of requirements relationship exists when a requirement is easier to implement if a related requirement is also implemented? Depends, effort, derived, necessity.
Effort.
It was very quick. I think you have read this section very carefully.
Yeah, I remember this chapter. It is what Babak says about trace requirement. No, sorry, it's a relationship between the requirements.
Okay. Any more options?
I also vote for B.
Okay. Let's check B. It's right. Next one. What must happen to enable requirements reuse? The requirements have to be verified. The requirements must be identified, clearly named, and defined. The proposed requirements need to be baselined. The requirements must be stored in a document repository. Enable requirement reuse.
D as a dog. Oh, no. B as a boy.
Okay. Any more answers?
Very tricky question. What must happen to enable requirements reuse? For me, it's really tricky. I don't know.
I didn't understand your question. Can you say it again?
I mean, very tricky question for me.
Yeah, it is.
Nice,
It is
well done.
tricky.
Because
Yeah, I
it's
definitely go for B.
Okay.
We need to be, yeah, it needs to be identified easily.
Let's check it out. And you're right. Okay, let's move forward. As the business analysis activity advances during an initiative, major budgetary constraints suddenly arise. The sponsor asks the team to focus their effort only on one most critical requirements. What should the business analyst do? Prioritize requirements, organize requirements, validate requirements, or verify requirements.
A, prioritize.
A.
I hear you
Easy.
guys. It's easy.
When they start coming easy, you know we're doing something right.
Exactly. When prioritizing requirements, different stakeholders focus on different areas of the prepared requirements package. What does the implementation SME focus on? Verifies that the prioritized requirements will deliver value from a customer or end user perspective. The customer can also negotiate to have the prioritization changed based on relative value. B, verifies that the prioritization is consistent with legal and regulatory constraints. C, uses the prioritization as input into the project plan and into the allocation of requirements to releases. D, determines the technical dependencies of the project. They may also negotiate to have requirements prioritization changed because of technical constraint. What will implementation SME focus on?
A, I think.
I think D as a dog. Or C.
Okay.
D.
Sorry, Thea, which one? D?
D is in dog.
Okay.
The implementation SME is going to be looking at the technical constraints and such.
Okay, subject matter expert. Okay.
Yeah, implementation SME. So let's check it
Okay,
out.
makes sense. Yeah.
And D is the right answer. Let's check why A is not the right one. The customer
This is
not
something.
this is the task of customer. It's not the implementation SME.
Yeah.
Approval of requirements in your organization that is dispersed internationally is done formally with each stakeholder who has authority. What methods may be used for requirements approval? A, the approval method is stated in the governance approach. Formal verbal approval is permissible. because of the international nature of the organization. Written approval is required to ensure compliance with SSIT regulations. Face-to-face sign-off with the business analyst and project manager is the most formal.
But
C,
they're dispersed
as in cat.
internationally.
A.
So
Okay.
they're dispersed internationally, so I don't like D.
Yeah.
Unless they would send
Sure.
me internationally to go do this, I would be glad to do that. But I don't think they're really going to do that.
Me too.
We can make a road trip.
Oh, yes. I love that. But I go with C, even though I have no clue what is SSIT is.
Is SSIT in the BABA?
I don't know.
Okay, so
But
so
I
let's-
love the written approval. I love the written, the word written.
I do like it, but if it were the correct, if it was the approval method that was acceptable for the project, it would be stated in the governance approach that we will have written sign off. So A would encompass C, right?
Oh,
I-
yes.
I don't know.
You're
I think
right. Yeah, I go with A, definitely. Yeah.
Let's check it. And this is
Yeah.
right. Well done, guys. Jen is experiencing a lot of changes with some of the requirements that she received from her stakeholders. Which task will be needed to be enacted by Jen? Prioritize requirements, assess requirement changes, approve requirements, notify the project manager.
B as a boy.
Sorry, C,
B as a boy.
okay. Assess requirement changes. Anyone
Yeah.
else?
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. I just want to make a note that D is not a task in this knowledge area, so we know that it cannot be D. The others are tasks in this knowledge area. So that gets us down to 3 instead of 4.
Let's check. And this is right. You are working on a major new inventory management system and are responding to a request for better reporting from it. You need a tool or method to describe the purpose and direction for the request, establish the context for it, and identify the critical components of the request. What do you choose to help guide you? Change strategy, project vision document, business case, or statement of work? Which one do you think is the right one?
So I'm puzzled by this because if we are making a change to our current project, it would be a change strategy or a statement of work. If they want a different project, it would be a business case. But I can't figure out which one that is.
New inventory
I think
management.
D as a
It looks
dog.
like it's a description of a business case to me.
Yeah, me too.
What do y'all think?
It's very confusing to me. You need
And
a
a
Tricky
tool
question,
or
actually.
Watermark questions are more confusing than the ones on the test. So if we can do this, we're going to be easy on the test.
describe the
one is
purpose.
best?
I go with
Sales
SAL, scope of statement of work.
Okay. Tiebreaker between C and D. Okay, let's check
Just need
it.
to remember if D is on Babok.
Oh.
A.
So it's a change to the existing project.
Yeah.
Where it says about change in question?
It's actually
Which one?
asking, responding to a request for better reporting from it. So we are changing the inventory management system to get the better reporting.
Yeah, actually, it is the first tools in guideline and tools. Change strategy is the first one. The others are not here.
Good
Interesting.
note.
Of prioritizing requirements is to rank requirements in order of relative importance. Which of the following can be the location where the prioritization is maintained? Decision register, backlog, repository, meeting minutes.
Backlog.
I agree.
See a repository. I just don't remember backlog is on level.
Oh,
Backlog-
you're right. It might not.
In backlog it's some counts as agile, but I might be wrong.
It is. I saw it.
Okay, let's check with repository. Answer is backlog.
Repository is a general term. Backlog is a
Okay.
specific.
And I think if backlog was not in the option, then we could have said repository.
I agree.
Yes.
Percy and his team have identified and documented the lineage of each requirement, including its backward traceability, its forward traceability, and its relationship to other requirements. What might be their next step? Determine why to make or buy, assess risk, business rules analysis, define design options.
Who knows what it is, backward traceability or forward traceability?
So it's actually traceability when we do the requirements traceability metrics, we do the traceability backward and forward both to check the relationship with the other requirements.
Okay.
I go with the last option, Diaz and dog.
Anyone else? Okay, let's check it. And this is the right one. Define design options uses the output of traced requirement. So here they are saying that they have traced everything. What will be the next step?
Actually, it was kind of extra information, which could be confuse people, like backward, just very
Yeah, rather
specific
than saying
terms.
traceability, they are like stressed it backward, forward
Yeah.
traceability and
Yeah,
relationship.
it was a trick. It's a trick when you want to, bother people. I like it.
Okay, the last one now. In a requirements approval workshop, Rocco is responsible for providing opinion on the relationship between stated requirements and specific laws, either formally in an audit or informally as inputs to requirements lifecycle management tasks. Which type of stakeholder is Rocco? Operational support, sponsor, regulator, domain subject matter expert.
A regulator.
Sure, law, definitely.
Okay. And it's right. Let's check. We
didn't
are at
pass.
56%. Not too bad.
We could
Yeah,
be
it
better.
was tricky.
Yeah,
Yes.
it could be better, but saying that this knowledge area is pretty tricky and confusing.
Actually, I have a question as we have 3 minutes left. This recite like the knowledge area for this requirement lifecycle management. Is this in order? We start with trace and then we go to maintain requirement? It's kind of confusing. I think that it should be first maintain and then go to trace.
Because your inputs of, let me look at this real quick. Inputs. So I'm going to fall back on what's in chapters 1 and 2. The items listed in the BABOK are not designed to be taken in a specific order. You're going to be going back and forth between all of them as you need to. I don't see anything in here that says that you have to start with trace requirements. How can you trace requirements whenever you first get your very first requirement, right? You've got to document it first. So I like your thinking there.
Okay. So it's not so it's not in order. That's it.
Nope, it's not in order. You need to consider doing all of these things, and there's good reasons to do some of them. And there's also good reasons that you might say, I don't need to do that for this project. You know, if this project takes 1 day, you're not going to do some of this stuff. If it takes 3 months, you're going to do some different things than you would on the 1 day project.
Yeah.
Can I ask, regarding the exam, there would be multiple options with the checkbox or just radio button? You need to select only one option, because I read all this information regarding exam. It says multiple options, because for me, multiple option is more difficult than just having radio button.
So I think it will be stated if any answer you can choose more than one answer, it will be stated specifically. But I haven't seen any question which says you can choose multiple options. It's always one answer.
From the people that have taken it, I haven't heard anybody say that there's a multiple option thing anywhere. The only difference with the tests are, depending on which level of the 3 tests you take, they're in a little bit different formats, but they're always multiple choice.
With one right answer.
One right answer according to the BABOK.
Yeah. Not as per real life.
Sometimes
I have a question.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a question for you, Thea, really. You've worked with so many groups and people over the years that have taken the exam. Has there ever been an aggregate on how much time should be spent on one question? Some of them are quite lengthy and some of them are just 1.5 sentences.
Well, here's the thing. If you're taking the CBAP, the Certified Business Analyst Professional, for people with 5 years or more experience, you're looking at reading basically a whole paragraph or maybe 2 paragraphs and then answering a question, then answering another question and answering another one and maybe a 4th one on that 1 paragraph. So there's really no way to say an average other than you know how long you have for the test and you know how many questions there are. You can do that kind of average. But beyond that, don't stress yourself out. They do say, though, whenever you're taking the test, you go through and you answer the questions that don't cause you huge amounts of confusion. Don't spend extra time on something. You have time to go back after you get to the end, and then you say, okay, now I'll go back to the ones that I need to spend more time on. That way you get the most questions answered, because those questions you do not answer at all, you have no chance of getting anything right. It's going to be counted wrong.
Sure, thank you. The other question is for these 11 questions that we got wrong today, does it show in the results which questions we got wrong? So once we have this video, we can go back to the study material just to understand where we went wrong. Is there any way to show that today on the 11 that we got wrong?
Watermark does not give you a list on the Watermark application. So the recording would be the best way to do it. But I am always
so we just have a score, but we don't know which 11 we got wrong.
Right. And here's the thing, they're not going to be consistently numbered regardless. If you took the test again through Watermark, it's going to be a different order. And they have a bank of, I think, 1,500 questions to pull from. So
Yeah,
you're not going to see the same questions for this knowledge area every single time.
yeah.
Going back to recording is going to be the best bet. And in the answers for the recording, I mean, for each answer, it's going to say, give you a reference, Babcock, in this case, 5 point, whatever, or 6 point, wherever it's at. So you can go directly to the Babcock to see where its backup information is from.
Yeah. Thank you. I guess the way my mind works, once we've moved on to the next question, I'm still thinking about the previous question to think, why did we get that wrong?
I understand.
So, yeah.
But
But
if you
my-
have the Babcock, the watermark questions, if you have bought for practice for yourself, once you are on this page, if you'll go to the view this exam questions, you can see that what you have answered and and you
Go
can move through the
all
other questions.
explanations.
Yeah. See,
Click
for
the-
this one we have said that this is the answer, but actually this was the right answer. So you can
If-
see that.
If you click the button, show all explanations.
To show you all explanation of this.
Right.
Cool. Yeah.
So
And you can
do that.
look at previous tests that you've done also if you have Watermark Learning. You can
Yeah.
see all your previous tests.
So if you are like giving multiple tests, you can see that what all you have done in what dates, and just go on
Mhm.
drill and view the exam questions, and it will show you that what all answers you have selected as correct answers and what were wrong answers.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know we're over time. What's the difference between the warm-up and the drill?
I think that the drill, whenever you go to the drill, it gives you a little bit different format. I
So,
don't know.
yeah.
I always use drill.
I
because
think
wasn't recording.
the drill questions are basically based on the knowledge areas, and whatever option you are choosing. Like, for example, if you choose underlying competencies, the all questions will be related to this. And if you are saying warm up, it will be from any of the from whole.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's clear. Mhm.
And the Ireland chapter also offers a discount for Watermark, correct?
Yeah, we do. And if you need discount code, if you are going, if you are thinking that Watermark Learning questions are really good and you want to take it in on your own time, you want to buy, just reach out to me. I'll give you the code. It will give you the discount on the purchase.
Could you please tell us how much it would be after the discount?
It
I think it's
depends.
40% discount.
So there are different subscriptions you can get to the questions. You can get it
Ah,
access,
okay.
for, a certain number of days or a longer. I think it's 30 days or 60 days or something like
days.
that. You can.
I think, yeah, on 60 days when we have the discount codes.
Okay.
They also have flashcards and classes and all kinds of other stuff too. But this is what I like to use. I
Mhm.
make my own flashcards for my own, to cover my own confusion.
Sure.
Okay, what are we going to study for next time?
Are we gonna take the same knowledge area, or do you want to move to the next knowledge area?
Well, our score today was 56%.
That
Okay,
doesn't
what do
fill me with
you
enthusiasm.
suggest?
I think
Yeah.
we should go over it
Yeah.
again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's my
we'll
view.
go over on this one again, requirements lifecycle management, in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, perhaps
Perfect.
just maybe for the first 25 minutes and then we can do the next chapter. I don't know. Do we want to spend an entire hour going through it again? I don't know.
It typically takes a full hour to go through 25 questions.
25
Okay.
questions.
So we can
If we
cruise.
have good conversation, it takes that long. And if we finish early, we can go on to the next one. But we want to take questions on what we've studied. So if we're going to do that, you need to study this knowledge area and the next knowledge area to be prepared in case we do that.
I think they're just going to get harder from here and there as we delve deeper into business analysis, no?
Actually, I really don't I think that the hardest chapter for me was chapter 8.
Oh, right.
And
Okay.
so that one, every study group I've has had to at least repeat it once
Okay.
to try to get it. But the others are about the same level as this one. And I guarantee if you really study it, it's not so hard.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much. It
And
was
I'll
awesome.
share all the study material over email. And what I'll do is like,
Yes.
I'll share the study material for requirements lifecycle management and for the next knowledge area as well. So if you are ahead, you can read and prepare yourself.
Right.
That's perfect. Thank you very much.
Thanks a million,
Okay.
guys. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Bye.
Good day.
Bye.
You take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.